In 2018, we began a quest to reduce chronic disease by tackling one of its major contributors, obesity.
Six volunteers joined the Body Conscious team for a 3-month program to lose their stubborn body fat. What they didn't know at the time was just how much this transformation would impact other areas of their health and life. This is Andrew's story. Andrew is a busy entrepreneur, managing his own company and also heading up a regional not-for-profit association. He works long hours and travels extensively, and so is constantly suffering from high stress and little sleep. He feels permanently tired, but driven by his commitments, he boosts his energy through high-calorie fast food eaten on the run. As a result, he's gained 15 kilos over the past 5 years. That extra weight has caused back, knee and joint pain, further limiting mobility that was already compromised by a childhood accident. The fast food diet has disrupted his healthy gut microbiome, leading to leaky gut and constantly feeling bloated. He has high blood pressure but refuses to take any medication. He was also pre-diabetic but made little effort to control his blood sugar. As a result, he's always feeling emotionally fragile and easily irritated. He was finding it difficult to feel satisfied or happy with anything.
I was so excited when Andrew decided to join the program. For 20 years that he worked so hard for other people, finally it's time for him to take care of himself.
Because I rarely put me first, and yeah, it's just on that it's interesting. Yeah. So it's always, you know, staff, clients, whatever, right? Keep everybody else happy, right? Never mind me.
Andrew wanted to join the trial program to regain his health and vitality and freedom of movement. He was particularly motivated because he's the chairman of a spa and wellness association, and he didn't feel like he was the role model that he should be. His starting statistics were not very good, however.
His blood pressure was very, very high at 220 over 110. He should have been hospitalised, but here he is, standing right in front of us with the biggest smile, as always. Andrew weighed 125 kilos, of which over 41 kilos was fat, and almost half of that was visceral fat, a dangerous kind of fat that's deep around your abdomen, surrounding your vital organs and impairing their function. High visceral fat is linked with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, heart disease, and even certain cancers. The fat was certainly taking its toll. Andrew was pre-diabetic to the level that we thought his lab results were in error. He also has high levels of chronic inflammation in the body and brain, increasing his risk of Alzheimer's disease in future. Andrew had many nutritional deficiencies and at the same time high levels of environmental toxins. His gut was labouring against an overgrowth of gut yeast and candida, contributing to a host of food intolerances. His physical assessment wasn't much better. His posture was imbalanced after years of tension and compensating for injury. His range of motion limited and his musculature was so weak that even one push-up was out of the question. So, how do we get Andrew back to health? Well, thanks to his many years working in the spa industry, Andrew did actually have a lot of knowledge. He just never consistently applied it. So, aside from poor diet due to travel, entertaining and eating on the run, Andrew had never exercised. I mean, never, ever in his 55 years on the planet. So, to succeed, he was going to have to change his lifestyle and habits, and that meant changing his mindset.
We take a holistic approach, and there are lots of things that we can do depending on each individual's needs and conditions. However, we always start with baby steps because we want to make sure that the changes are sustainable.
With Andrew, we start with hydration, low carb, high nutrition diet, sleep pattern, and exercise 3 times a week. With these few changes, he already lost 7K within the first week. After that, he feels more energy and he has more encouragement to tackle the exercise and diet the next week.
Food was a challenge at first because Andrew used to be executive chef at one of the world's leading health resorts. In those days though, healthy food meant low sugar, low salt and low fat. While low sugar is still a golden rule, we now know that the best way for weight loss for most people is to have higher amounts of healthy fat, moderate protein and small quantities of low glycemic carbohydrates. Despite his history creating award-winning spa cuisine, Andrew's own diet was heavily based around refined carbohydrates such as bread and pasta. So to lose weight, he'd have to completely reprogram his way of eating around organic whole foods, lower carbohydrate diet with moderate protein, healthy fats and loads of non-starchy veggies. Once he did, there was no stopping him. He began to use more advanced techniques, including intermittent fasting, limiting his eating window to less than 12 hours per day. We supported Andrew's progress with detoxifying and rejuvenating therapies, acupuncture for pain management, IV infusions and supplements for energy and repair, weekly sound healing, breathwork and meditation to relieve stress, functional exercise training 3 times per week, and Andrew's favourite, the infrared sauna, which detoxifies and boosts the metabolism, burning fat while you relax. The results were more than even we could hope for. By the end of the first week, Andrew had lost 7 kilos, much of which was excess fluid which the body can release as inflammation begins to subside. But by the end of the 12-week program, Andrew had lost 25 kilos of body fat, much of which was from around the harmful visceral area. 3 months later, he came in for a follow-up, and not only had he been able to maintain the weight loss, but he'd increased it a further 3 kilos. So he finished at a nice neat 97. He'd knocked 16 years off his metabolic age, from 57 down to 41 years old. His BMI was almost within normal range, and his blood sugar was optimal. He was no longer pre-diabetic, and his blood pressure was perfect, 120/80, without any medication. 1 year on, and Andrew has maintained the weight loss because he's learned the importance of self-care and to put himself first.
The one thing that I've really probably got out of this the most at this point in time is that I'm actually doing, it's not necessarily the reason I started doing it, but it's like this is me time. And filling in that stupid book about, that very wise manual that we have to fill in, right? About the me time part, just highlighted the thing that doing this program, this is me time.